Hazrat Abu Raja has reported from Hazrat Abu Qilaba. One day Hazrat Umar bin Abdul Aziz mounted the throne in order to have a discussion with the people. He permitted the people. So they came in. He thereupon asked, "What is your opinion about oath taking by the defendant?" The people replied, "Retaliation through oath taking is a fact, and the rightly guided caliphs would take the retaliation through it." He then said to me, "O Abu Qilaba, what do you say about it?" And then made me stand before the people. I replied, "O the chief of the believers, you have the Arabian chiefs and dignitaries of the highest rank with you. If 50 of them bear witness that so and so married men committed fornication in Damascus, but they were not eyewitnesses to it, will you stone that man to death?" He said, "No." I then said, "If 50 of them bear witness that so and so commits larceny in Hems, but they were not eyewitnesses to it, will you chop his hand?" He replied in the negative. I whereupon said, "By Allah Jalla Jalaluhu, Allah's Apostle Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam did never kill any person except for 3 reasons. Whoso is killed in retaliation, a married fornicator, whoso fights against Allah Jalla Jalaluhu and His Apostle Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and becomes reneged after embracing Islam." The people said, "Hasn't Hazrat Anas radiyallahu anhu narrated this hadith that Allah's Apostle Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam cut off hands for committing theft and passed hot needles through the eyes? Then they were laid in the sun." I whereupon said, "I tell you Hazrat Anas hadith." Hazrat Anas radiyallahu anhu narrated me the hadith. 8 men from the Ukul tribe visited Allah's Apostle Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and took an oath of allegiance to him on Islam. The climate of this area did not suit them, and they suffered physical disorders. So they complained against it to Allah's Apostle Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, "You should go to the camels accompanied by the cattlemen and keep on consuming the milk and urine of the she camels." They said, "Okay," and they went there. They continued consuming the milk and urine of the she camels. So they convalesced, assassinated the cattlemen of Allah's Apostle Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and drove the cattle away. When this news reached Allah's Apostle Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam dispatched a few men in their pursuits, who arrested them and fetched them back. He Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam issued orders for them, so their hands and feet were chopped. Hot needles were passed through their eyes. Then they were cast in the sun until they died. I said, "What can be the more heinous crime than what they perpetrated?" They renounced Islam, committed murder and larceny. Unbasa bin Said whereupon said, "By Allah Jalla Jalaluhu, I have never heard what I have heard today." I said, "O Unbasa, do you negate my hadith?" He replied, "No. Rather, you have narrated the hadith in this way as if it were happening right before us. By Allah Jalla Jalaluhu, this group of people always remains on good as long as these elderly people will be present in them." I then said, "There is also a precedence set by Allah's Apostle Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in this regard. Some of the helpers visited him Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and remained engaged in talk in his company. One of them went out and was martyred. Later, when they went out, they found their companion tossing, bespattered with blood. They returned to Allah's Apostle Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and submitted, 'O Allah's Apostle Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, our companion who was talking with us went out before us. Now we have seen him tossing covered with blood.' Allah's Apostle Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam whereupon came out and said, 'Who do you expect or think has killed him?' They replied, 'We think the Jews might have killed him.' He Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam summoned the Jews and asked, 'Have you killed him?' They denied. He Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, 'Are you agreed at it that 50 of the Jews should take an oath that they have not killed him?' They submitted, 'They will take an oath even after killing all of us.' He Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, 'Then do 50 of you take an oath so that you should get the right of taking blood with.' They submitted, 'We cannot take an oath.' So the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam himself paid the blood with from his own. I, Abu Qilaba, said, Hudayl, in the pre-Islamic period of ignorance, expelled a man from his tribe. He alighted in the house of a Yemeni at Batha. When someone of them knew of it, he pounced upon him with his sword and killed him. The people of Hudayl tribe came, arrested that Yemeni, and took him to Hazrat Umar radiyallahu anhu during Hajj season, and said, "He has killed one of us." He whereupon said, "They have expelled him from their tribe." Hazrat Umar radiyallahu anhu said, "50 men from the Hudayl must take an oath that they have not boycotted with him." 49 of them took an oath. When one of them came from Syria, he was asked to take an oath, but he paid 1,000 dirham for his oath. They included another man in his place and took him to the killed's brother and got him shake hand with him. The people say they both and 50 men who took an oath set out. When they reached Nakhali, it began to rain. So they entered a cave in a mountain. The cave collapsed on those 50 men who took an oath, and they all died. But those who shake hands survived. A boulder came rolling towards them and broke the foot of the brother of the killed, and after 1 year he also died. I, Abu Qilaba, said, Abdul Malik bin Marwan got a person to take retaliation through oath taking, and then repented of it, and passed orders to struck off the names of those 50 men who took an oath from the register and banished them to Syria. Sahih Bukhari Hadith number 6899.